Good morning, everybody. My name is Richard Gorshwin. I'm the business manager for our mapping and GIS division at Corec, and we're here today to present to you the groundbreaking Trimble Catalyst solution, how it works and what it can offer as a positioning solution for you. Just a bit of housekeeping, everybody's on mute. If you have any questions, if you just type them into the box, and then when the presentation ends, we will address every question that comes in from you. Okay, so if we look at the skyline of London, and we see all of the assets that live in that picture and beyond, everybody is now looking for more information about those assets to give quicker response times, a better idea of what you have out there, but also increasingly the accuracy of the position of the asset is becoming more important to businesses as they move forward with asset management systems. So what we're going to be looking at today is how Trimble Catalyst can bring that accuracy to the party. So a lot of people are doing data capture out there, possibly with mobile phones, maybe with some more professional data capture solutions, but the piece that's missing is this centimetres positioning for everybody at an affordable cost. And this is what Trimble Catalyst hopes to address as a solution. So just looking at the history of GNSS positioning back in 1994, we could achieve centimetre positioning with a base and rover solution. Fast forward to today, and we can do that as a standalone rover. We do not need a base to achieve that, but that's very much addressing the survey market. Receivers are expensive, it is traditional surveying software, so you do need to know how to use that, and it's very specialised at what it can do. So going back to that strap line of centimetres everywhere for everyone, we're still missing the everyone in that piece. The utilities certainly aren't surveyors, but could need that centimetre positioning. Agronomists, people looking to survey field boundaries and things like that. Everybody is looking for that higher accuracy position these days. So it's looking how Catalyst could deliver that as a solution for everybody. So when Trimble looked at this as a solution, what they needed to do was balance a number of aspects about this. It certainly needed to be affordable, availability on demand, very simple to use so people didn't need to train to be surveyors, and reliable so that that position was constant every time that you recorded that position. So Trimble have set out to do something that never has been done before. It is the world's first software-based GNSS receiver, capable of centimetre positioning, and it's actually using the processing power of your phone to achieve that position. And all packaged up and delivered as an on-demand service. So when you need to use it, it's available to use. But also, if you don't have any projects on, you're not paying for expensive technology just to be sat on a shelf in the office. So Catalyst is a software-based solution. However, there are some items that you need for this whole system to work. So we have the DA1 antenna, which is sat on top of the pole. You need a subscription to the Catalyst service, an Android phone or tablet, and a app that's going to do the data capture for you. So just looking in more specifics at that DA1 antenna. So it has a lot of the technologies built into there that Trimble have developed over the years. So certainly looking at multipath rejection when you're in built-up areas, under tree canopy, next to large steel structures. It has all of that technology that Trimble has developed over the years built into this system. It's extremely light. It uses 90% less power than a standard GNSS receiver. And it is also a multi-constellational application. So we are using the GPS system and also Galileo, with GLONASS to come online in the coming months. It supports RTX L-band, so we can get satellite corrections delivered to this system, and it is completely scalable across any accuracy for any application. So from sub-meter levels of accuracy down to centimeter, if you so wish. And it connects to your smartphone or tablet via a micro USB connection, and it can be powered via a battery or from using the battery on your Android device. And it's completely rugged, as you would expect from Trimble, drop proof, temperature proof, all of the things that you would expect from a standard Trimble product. So looking in more detail, we can set the system up in a couple of ways. So we can have a power bank which powers the antenna and also powers the phone, so that we can charge the phone at the same time to make sure that we're going to get performance out of it. Or we can just connect the antenna directly into the smart device and take power directly from the device's battery itself. So we can work in either way, depending on obviously how long you need to work and the amount of time you're going to be in the field. And in terms of subscription level, we have 4 levels of subscription available. So 1 meter, sub-meter, decimeter, and precision down to the 1 to 2 centimeter accuracies. And these are based on a monthly subscription. And then that's just a case of working out the accuracy that you require for the amount of time and also the amount of users that you have. So it's looking at that in 3 elements, really. You know, the subscriptions are for 1 month at a time, so you can subscribe for 1 month, use the system, and then if you have no projects on the next month, you can just leave the antenna in the glove box of your car in the office and just wait for your next project to arrive. Or you can subscribe again at the same or even a different level of accuracy as and when you require. So it's a completely mix and match solution to scale and suit each demands of your organization and what projects that you have ongoing at the time. Licenses can be transferred between mobile devices, so they can be shared. Only one user can use a license at one time though, so it's just trying to understand how many users that you're going to have concurrently. And it's just allowing for that more flexibility. So what we're finding is that these subscriptions can be funded out of operational budget on a project rather than to have to look at capital expenditure before that project starts. So there are some device requirements to have this solution to work on your phone. So it is Android only. It isn't compatible with iOS currently. We do need Android 5 or upwards. We do need a 1.4 gig quad-core processor with 1.4 gig of RAM as well. And it is recommended that it is a 64-bit device, ideally with USB on the go, which means that the device can power the antenna and simultaneously receive the signals down the cable at the same time. So when Trimble set out to develop Catalyst, as I said earlier, we were looking at all of these elements that it needed to be for it to work commercially. So affordability, availability on demand, simplicity, and the reliability of the system. So let's just look at those 4 elements and see how it does stack up. So certainly on the affordability front, this really does stack up against traditional methods. The DA1 antenna is £300 plus VAT to buy, and then you would just have the subscription at the level of service you required after that. So you are only paying for what you use. You can scale that up and down as and when you require. And as I said, this can genuinely come from operating expense rather than capital expenditure. So this is delivering this 15 times lower cost of entry compared to traditional GNSS receivers that you have to buy up front and then use on projects as you go along. And in terms of the simplicity, this is all done through an app that you can just download from the Play Store called Trimble Mobile Manager. It's running on the phone, you connect the antenna, and you just turn it on and it will work. So you manage your subscription within there, turn the system on, and it will start to receive signals from the antenna, bring them through, and start to correct the GPS position down to what accuracy that you have subscribed to. And you can see that it will give you that accuracy estimate in real time in the app directly. In terms of being on demand, well, this is very much the case. Subscription based, use it when you require. Just subscribe, activate the solution, and away you go. Ideal for seasonal work or just incidental projects as and when you need to, or looking at projects that you need to get an accurate position, but you cannot fund expensive hardware, that it needs to be done as a low-cost solution to fit in with your budget requirements. However, just because it is more cost-effective than other solutions, it doesn't mean that performance isn't there. So this is a performance chart against Trimble's own flagship R10 GNSS receiver. So you can see how it stacks up against those. Certainly, the R10 would work in an all-day environment, whereas with Catalyst you are limited to battery power on your phone or from a power bank. The cost comparisons are definitely there, and Catalyst does stack up very cost effective against that. It does take slightly longer to initialize and get an initial position in the field compared to the professional devices, but it will achieve those accuracies that it requires and deliver those to you. It isn't using as many GNSS solutions at the moment. As I say, it is using GPS and Galileo currently. However, GLONASS will be coming online in the coming months, and it does take slightly longer to initialize, but it is very good if it does lose a signal at that reconvergence and getting that position back as soon as it can. But where we're really looking at how it compares is to people that are just using a standard smartphone. Performance really is sort of random, shall we say, from using a smartphone. You can get somewhere between 5 and 20 meters. Certainly when you go near tree canopy, that starts to really affect the position just using the internal GPS on a smartphone, which we'll see in a minute. And this is where Catalyst really does step up, that you are using the same device, but we are delivering a more professional position into that device to allow you to get consistent positions and accuracy based around your project requirements. So just looking how the solution performs in terms of accuracy. So if you have a look at this data that's captured here, the red line has been captured with Catalyst, so you can see a nice constant position with no spikes in the data, delivering a consistent route along that path compared to the internal GPS on a phone. And you can see where it's even got some loops in there. There's absolutely no consistency with that position, and it's not going to give you those reliable results that people are striving for from asset data management now. So in terms of how it stacks up against the R10, so these are some sports pitches that have been surveyed. The true dimensions of those sports pitches are 465 square meters. And this is how Trimble's R10 flagship receiver performed against that. So 462 to 461 meters squared. So an average position of around about 10 millimeters. And Catalyst itself, if you look at that, there's very little difference in terms of accuracy performance with Catalyst as compared to the R10. You know, we are within 0.08 of a percentage in terms of accuracy of the positions. But where we're really looking to compare this is against the users of smartphone technology out there. And if you look at that, how Catalyst performs compared to that, you can see there is a huge benefit in using Catalyst compared to just the internal receiver on a smartphone. And you can see where the positions really come into their own is where that tree canopy is and where those really start to be affected on the smartphone and blown out of all positions compared to where they really should be. So it's also worth pointing out the limitations of the system. You know, a smartphone certainly isn't as rugged as one of the professional devices. So all of the things that you do get with a professional device, you are limited to with using Catalyst with the smartphone. So certainly battery power, water and dust resistance, things like that. You need to consider that whether a smart device will perform in the environments that you need to work in, or whether a professional device would be more beneficial in those areas. But really the limitations are more down to the performance of the smartphone compared to the performance of the antenna or its positioning power. So certainly Trimble does enable a broader range of applications and can be used across a multitude of projects to deliver that level of accuracy. And we have some links there that we can share with you just to get some more information on how the system works and some case studies from users out in the field around there. But what you need is as well as the Catalyst solution, is you do need a compatible app to then be able to go and do your data collection. What the Catalyst app is doing is connecting to the GNSS systems, bringing in that position as a WGS84 position, and then sharing that on the device. You would still need an app to be able to do the data capture after that. So just going through some compatible apps with you. So what we have is the Catalyst service and Trimble Mobile Manager, which is to get that position and manage the subscription. But as I said, you do need that workflow app then to be able to deliver that position into an application to do some asset data capture. So what Mobile Manager can do is deliver the position into your location services to pick up, or there are some apps out there that have already integrated Trimble Mobile Manager into them and use those directly. So you can load the app and just work as you would normally do with Trimble Mobile Manager just working in the background. And that's certainly what we've done with our own K-Mobile solution. So that can run on a number of platforms, including Android 5. So it's fully compatible with Catalyst. We have some cloud technology in there, so we can do some remote data downloads. You don't need to return to the office to download any data. And we've just made the interface as simple as possible to use. So it can be run by any level of user and can do some very simple GIS data capture. And what we've done is we've fully integrated Mobile Manager into there. So you don't need to start the Mobile Manager app to get Catalyst to run. All you do is start K-Mobile, and that will automatically connect to the DA1 antenna and bring your Catalyst subscription through into our software ready to go. And then K-Mobile can deliver a very simple workflow. So the first thing is we can derive a position which is based on OSTN 15 transformations. So we are able to deliver that centimeter position from Catalyst against master map data and show that live in the field on a smartphone. We support all mapping that's been georeferenced, so master map, any of the standard OS formats, aerial photography, or even data that's been designed, say in AutoCAD, that's coordinated properly, and we can bring that in. So that gives us position, and then it's very simple to create your own data capture forms. So we can have selection lists in there. We can automate some of that process to make that data capture as simple as possible for field users, and put some quality control around the data as well. So you're guaranteeing that all of the information that is coming back into a database is correct. And finally, the ability to add photographs to that position as well. So you know exactly where those photographs were taken in the field, of what asset, and you aren't coming back to the office with the digital camera and wondering where those photographs were taken and what of. So a very simple process of position, attributes, and photographs saved away. And then, as I said, they can be transformed wirelessly from the smart device into our K-Portal solution, which is cloud-based, receives the data wirelessly from the field, and can be accessed from any web browser, whether this is on a desktop PC, on a laptop, or even on a tablet. And what we find is a lot of our customers like this as a solution because it really does minimize any impact on your IT department and what they require for a system to run. We can be completely standalone because we're just running directly through a web browser. And you can see on the right-hand side of that screen, what we can do is automatically produce reports. So we can have performance charts on what amount of data has been captured on a certain day or a certain week. We can work out if you're behind or ahead of schedule of what the project requires. We have a map view, so you can start to interrogate that data and report on it. View where defects have been found in the field and how you're going to quickly manage and repair those defects. And where a lot of the benefits are coming with K-Portal as a solution and what customers are finding is that we can automate pen and paper workflows very simply. So any existing documents that you have in Word or Excel can be generated from data that's coming digitally from the field. And what we're finding is users are saving a minimum of 70% of their office time by using this as a solution, just because we're automating processes and completing forms that are required digitally. So that's a very simple solution of doing that data capture process with Catalyst included. For any ESRI users on the call this morning, Catalyst has been integrated into the Collector app. So it now supports Trimble Mobile Manager in there, and it can also stream those positions directly into Collector for you to use on your projects. So any standard data capture workflows that you have used in Collector can now utilize Catalyst to get those positions down to the levels of accuracy as we discussed in the subscriptions earlier. So down to centimetre level of precision delivered directly into the ESRI Collector app. Or if you have your own workflows and your own apps that you've already developed for smart devices, there is an SDK available so you can integrate Trimble Mobile Manager and the Catalyst system directly into your apps. So that means that you're completely keeping the same workflow that you've already developed and you have users using. Catalyst can then just deliver the positional accuracy that you may require on projects into that same workflow. So it's minimizing the impact of use onto any users in the field. And there is a link at the bottom there just for you to register to become part of that SDK program and be able to integrate that into your systems. So that's it in terms of what we're delivering you today in information on the Catalyst system and how it works. We do have some questions that have come in from you over the period of the presentation. One is, will it be available for Apple products in the future? The short answer is we're really not sure. We're not expecting to see anything that will be compatible with Apple, certainly for this year and possibly into next year as well. I think it's going to be a few years off before this system is compatible with the Apple products. Another question is it compatible to run on Android tablets? Yes, it is. Obviously, you do need to make sure that the Android tablet does meet those minimum device requirements. We do have that on a document. So if you do need those device requirements to check if existing hardware is compatible, we can email you those out, and you can just check that your devices are compatible. Another question is, does it connect to a USB-C device? The connection on the Catalyst DA1 antenna is a micro USB connection, but with just a standard USB-C adapter, Catalyst will work in exactly the same way. So you just need that small adapter on the end of the cable to connect it to a USB-C device. How much power does it take out of my phone? Well, roughly for an hour's use, it's probably taking around about 20% of a Samsung Galaxy phone battery. So it is possible to run it for a good number of hours just using the power directly from your smartphone. However, with the DA1 antenna, it does come with a power bank included in that £300 price. So you can power the antenna and your phone for around about 5 hours from that power bank that's included with the system. And a final question is, does it need a phone signal to work? So at the 1 centimetre and decimetre levels of accuracy, we are requiring an internet connection on the device to be able to stream those connections in. You can get corrections over satellite. They will give you accuracies of around about 20 to 30 centimetres over satellite. So what will happen if you're at the centimetre precision level of accuracy and you lose a phone signal, it will drop down to that satellite correction. So we are still delivering you an accurate position in the field, and as soon as the phone signal comes back in, it will go back down to that decimetre or centimetre level of accuracy. Let's just look here, there's some more questions just come in. So can it be used in specific transformations and geoid models? So yes, it can. That's more down to the app that you're using Catalyst with to enable those transformations. So certainly K-Mobile is using OSTN 15 and we're delivering those positions live through that transformation. It really does depend on if your application that you're running supports those transformations in the first place. So yes, it can use it. Trimble Mobile Manager is bringing everything in WGS84, and then it's down to the app that you're running to transform that into OSTN 15 or something similar. As I say, we are definitely doing that in K-Mobile. We aren't aware of any other apps in the UK that are using OSTN 15 with Catalyst at the moment. So another one is, does it save the positional quality of the position with each point? Again, that's more down to the app that you're running. So certainly K-Mobile can store the accuracy of every point when you survey it. So if you need to do a report to say how accurate is all my data, we can do that. Or even we can restrict the user that he's only allowed to collect a position if he's within a certain accuracy tolerance. So we can stop any positional data being collected if it falls outside your project requirements. So another question is, does it use floodlight technology? So it is, floodlight technology is basically the use of multi-constellations to get the positions. So as I said, it is using GPS and Galileo currently. We're literally just waiting on an update on the Trimble Mobile Manager app that is going to allow for GLONASS positioning to come into the system as well. So that will give you the equivalent of using floodlight technology on a Geo Explorer. So there's just a question on subscription costs and mobile data. So the subscription costs for sub-meter are £100 plus VAT per month. For decimeter, they're £160 plus VAT per month. And for the precision, it's £280 plus VAT per month. So you subscribe for the month, go and use it, and then if you don't have any projects on the next month, you don't subscribe, or you can subscribe again at the same or a different level of accuracy. Someone else is also asking about the data usage on the mobile phones. So for the decimeter and centimeter solutions, we're using roughly about 1.5 megs an hour. So it is very low usage on data, so it's not going to impact on too much on any mobile phone contract that you already have. I guess the consideration needs to be more around how many photographs that you're going to send with the data. And it's normally the use of photographs that impacts more on mobile data contracts than usage of Catalyst in a solution. And just a question here on how long for GLONASS. We are expecting GLONASS to be integrated into the system within the next couple of months. That will be done purely just as an update to the app and a firmware update to the antenna, which will come via the app. So it won't need a new antenna to be able to do that. And yes, so someone else has just asked about USB-C connection. So yes, fully compatible. You just need to use the little adapter that you will have got with your phone to be able to connect to the connection on the DA1 antenna. Someone else just asking about subscription costs, which I think we've covered. And yes, subscription costs again. And someone is asking why connect with a cable. This has to be done purely because the amount of data that's being processed by the app to keep the speed of the system up, and so that your mobile phone can operate just as it would normally without having any effect on performance. You wouldn't want the device slowing down or stalling while you're trying to do any asset data capture. So the reason that a cable is used is to keep the signals from the antenna going as fast as they can down the antenna into the device, but also that the antenna can pull some power out of the device as well and use that. There's no battery power in that DA1 antenna at all. It's powered either from the device itself or from the power bank that is supplied with the antenna. So that seems to be all of the questions that have come in from yourselves today. We are going to make this webinar available as a recording for you to download, and you can share with colleagues if you would like to. And please feel free to contact us if you have any more questions or you would need any more information on how the system works and how we can integrate it with your existing workflows. Many thanks for your time today. Hope you found the presentation useful, and we look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thank you.